Oba Femi starts the show. Holy Christ.
Oh,
he comes out. This place is just deafening. Absolutely deafening for this man. They won't even let him speak. The whole place is just chanting for him. And he finally gets his promo out stating that him and Paul Heyman both believe in spoilers, and his spoiler is winning King of the Ring and becoming champion. But he still needs to collect the head of Brock Lesnar, who has disappeared since their last match. And I don't see the big bad beast. All I see is a big bad bitch. And he's going to settle the score. So Dirty Dom interrupts and he gets tons of heat. He refers to Oba as a rookie, while I'm a 20-year veteran. And this leads to a distraction as JD appears from behind, swats Oba with the chair. It has no effect, and he punches the chair into JD, but the distracted Oba gets caught with a 619, and he gets caught off the top, but JD rescues Dominic, who is pulled to safety. Oba says, "You messed up. Ray is your father, but next week, I'll introduce you to your daddy." So next week it is Oba Femi against Dominic Mysterio, a match that I have way too much interest in than I should, but I am intrigued. And what better after hearing this crowd, I mean, what better place than Baltimore for this?
Baltimore deserves it. You know, forget New
Goodman
Orleans.
country.
That is correct. I wonder if he'll be going to the show.
Probably not.
Excellent segment that, gave us maybe our first glimpse of just how amazing this crowd is in Paris. Femi, on top of that, was great here, I felt. He continues to show that he's a lot more than just a big guy. He's somebody who can very much maintain his composure and confidence on a big stage in front of an amazing crowd on live TV. And I thought he was able to even, in just seeing him try to settle down this crowd for the massive ovation that they were giving him, I thought that made him look great. I thought the promo he cut did a very effective job in stating his intent to win the King of the Ring while also keeping in focus his feud with Brock Lesnar. And importantly, I thought he managed to underscore the legitimacy of Brock's win by reminding all of us that Brock did cheat by attacking before the bell. And it continues to, again, make Femi look like the hero despite the loss by claiming that Brock is ducking him ever since, he got even with their win. So he's telling both stories, both wanting to win the King of the Ring while also keeping the Brock Lesnar feud fresh in your minds. In the segment like this.
Yeah, they don't need to do it immediately, but I think you do need the next step of this to be Brock actively, like it was hinted at here, but I think you need to make it clear that Brock is refusing to give him the rematch. Like that has to be Oba's goal now, is to goad this guy into the deciding match. And he kind of got that with the line at the end about "you're done, bitch." And this promo suggested that, but I think you need to make that clear. And that's what Oba is fighting for, is this match with Brock. And however you get
so
there.
Wait, Brock saying 1 + 1, you're done.
That was like, you're done. Like, I'm done with you. That's how I took that.
Why would he say 1 + 1?
I don't know.
He should have just dropped that.
Maybe he had a t-shirt idea. That might be his shirt he comes back with wearing.
1 + 1.
1 + 1.
Maybe
you're done, bitch.
Addition works differently in Saskatchewan or Manitoba, wherever he's at.
Jackie Redmond is back with Seth Rollins, and he is going to win the King of the Ring, he states, then regain the title he never lost, and has a date down the line with Roman Reigns that they are continuing to hint toward. There's an OTC chant and says that the belt does not belong to Reigns. I made that title.
It's a big setup for Rollins versus Reigns, which, I mean, on the one hand here works as a good misdirect to, lead you into thinking Rollins would be likely to advance. But secondly, I mean, certainly lays the foundation for whenever they are set to do this match again, which will probably be before the end of the year. If not sooner, like maybe even closer to the end of the year.
Do you think there's no chance of this ending up being at SummerSlam?
Well, he lost.
He lost.
How does he re-enter the title match?
I just don't look at anyone that's in this tournament that's remaining that I see headlining SummerSlam with Roman Reigns, including Oba Femi. Like, I don't see Oba Femi challenging Reigns at SummerSlam.
Yeah. On the other side of the bracket, we've got who won tonight? Javon and somebody either between Balor, Jay, LA Knight, or Royce Keys. So of those four, like I feel LA Knight could be an option just because he's
Maybe
got a
LA
long-standing
Knight.
story. But other than that, you're
Could you
right.
see Royce Keys like
No,
in that big of a role thus
no,
far? So
not
it's
this
like
early. The options are Femi and
LA Knight?
LA Knight, in my opinion. Yeah, because it's not Jay.
No, it's not going to be Jay.
not Balor.
And it's not going to be Balor.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be Dominic.
So what you think? You think somehow Seth finds his way in?
I'm just looking at the options here. Oh, like I thought Seth was going to advance here. I didn't know if he was necessarily going to win this, but I'm just looking at like that match is clearly coming, and whether it's SummerSlam or another date.
Well, of the options, Femi is the best one, right? If you want a big headlining match, Femi versus Reigns for the championship. But you also have Brock as a more likely story actually for Femi. So I think it's LA Knight.
I think it's going to be Dominic and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Clearly,
could be. Yeah.
Who do you see coming out of this on SmackDown side to face Evans? We've got Jay, LA Knight, Keys, and Balor. We kind of talked about this earlier. What do you think is LA
so
Knight?
Opposing Javon Evans would be one of the four, right? Keys versus Evans, I think, would be an interesting match just to have a big guy versus like a cruiserweight that would be compelling. But like all four being baby faces, kind of like in Jay's case, makes it a little bit harder to predict because Evans himself is a babyface. There's no real clear victor. I don't think it'll be Balor. Keys is possible. I don't really see him advancing. I still think LA Knight probably represents the best chance, but Jay is always a candidate too. So it could be anybody except Finn Balor is what I'm saying.
Okay. And who's winning this tournament, Way?
Yeah. Could you do Oba Femi versus... You can't do Oba Femi versus Roman because of Brock at Minnesota.
I don't think it makes sense. Like, I don't think they would have had Oba lose if he was going to challenge at SummerSlam.
So it's got to be Dominic Mysterio. No. I think it's LA Knight. It has to be LA Knight, right? Of the options here that are remaining.
I don't know. That seems very high for LA Knight for a SummerSlam.
Who else though amongst this field that's at play right now?
Yeah,
Again.
like if you're telling me on Raw who is the babyface that is most primed for a big match, it's Rollins by a significant portion, I think.
He's out though. Could it be Dom versus Roman at SummerSlam?
No.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Again, of the options, I don't think Femi, because Femi's, going to do something with Lesnar at SummerSlam. I think that leaves LA Knight, doesn't it?
Do you think there's any chance they do something where this is like the winner of this somehow either gets a title shot or it's some kind of misdirect where we get a fresh opponent for SummerSlam?
Yes, they could do that. Yeah, they could do that.
Because a lot of these don't add up to me.
It just feels like a bit of a cop-out, don't you think?
Well, they do that at times.
We'll see. Maybe a hard to predict for these reasons. Yeah, first piece of feedback, actually, I want to go to our live chat. And I just wanted to maybe explore your thoughts on this idea. So we suggested Oba Femi versus Brock is likely for SummerSlam. Therefore, that might take him out of the King of the Ring. But what if they did Oba versus Brock night 1 and then Oba versus Roman night 2? Credit to Gomez for that suggestion here in the chat. What do you think?
I just don't see them. That's like two big buildups for one event. I just think you want to have Oba's chase be separate.
Not unprecedented. They've had Cody and Roman be a part of both nights of a WrestleMania.
They have. It's just that do you need to do both of those on back-to-back nights? Like that could be like I think the complicating part is going to be keeping Oba away from this title. Like it's going to be very hard to get through this. Like let's say he comes out of SummerSlam and it's Brock, he retires Brock. And your plan is, well, this is going to be Mania. Dude, that's going to be a long 6 months for Oba to keep him away from the title.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe they don't, because I think
Maybe not.
everybody might expect Roman to be on this like incredibly long reign and for it to be cut off, in the span of, I guess like a few months by an Oba Femi. Like, I think that would be a great big statement making type of win, especially him like winning both matches of the weekend, right?
There are a few matches WWE can make that I think would actually move tickets to a volume. I would really be curious to see what a Reigns Oba match would do, because I think that would like if that got announced, if say he won this Night of Champions deal and it's announced it's Reigns and Oba, we're going with this. Brock can wait. I think that would be a huge match that you have all summer to build to. And well, you'd have like 5 weeks because SummerSlam's very early this year. It's like the first week of August. I think that would be a huge match. And quite frankly, like that would, like you could do Oba Brock at a later date, but I think it being Minnesota, I think it's going to be Oba and Brock at SummerSlam. For sure. And then it's, you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility of doing both in one night or in one weekend. I just see it as unlikely. I think they want Oba and Roman to be its own thing rather than you're building up these two matches over July. And I think it's just tough to build up both as significant instead of like, what is the match you focus on?
But the options, again, John, being Oba wrestling twice on both main events or Roman versus LA Knight in the other match. Listen, what's the bigger match?
Dude, they literally did a retirement and then came out and said, bullshit. Like, they can do anything they want. They could have Oba win the King of the Ring and say, I want Brock. And then we're going to find a new contender. Like, they can do anything they want to get around this. I agree with you. I look at this field. I'm like, I can't see any of these people headlining with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Do you expect Brock on the show next week with Oba against Dominic?
I think it's very probable, you know, if you need a way for Oba to exit the tournament. I mean, having Brock's surprise appearance somehow would...
And Dominic goes to the final?
Yeah, it's possible. Dominic at Knight, you know, would probably like sway the audience towards...
Or do you
Knight
continue this story? It's like he skirts by Oba somehow, and then he gets Royce Keys in the final. Like, it would continue that story of...
So the answer is okay, but then Dom has to win the match, right?
Could you do something where it's like somehow Dominic like backdoors his way into winning this, and then ultimately he gets beat for this number one contendership? He doesn't end up going to SummerSlam.
I think that's such a cop-out.
Well, they do a lot of cop-outs.
But not for like something like a King of the Ring winner, you know?
Okay, well... I wouldn't, even with Brock involvement, I don't like the idea of Dominic beating Oba, even if it's with interference, even if it's a count out. I just think it's like...
At some point, though, unless Oba Femi goes on to win the tournament, you will get Brock Lesnar causing him to lose, right?
They have something in Oba that's like, man, you could not just create this from scratch. Like, this is not something that comes along too often. He should win the King of the Ring. He should beat Brock Lesnar and then beat Roman Reigns in the same weekend. What about the same night? What about they go back to back? Okay.
Yeah, they could. Okay. It would be a history-making event. Yeah.
Yeah. Do what Toshio Yamada did, where she had a 4.25-star tag match and then came back for a hair versus hair with Manami Toyota in the next goddamn match. Okay.
It would be
full
something.
5.
Yeah, they could. I actually think that would be one of the more interesting options, more so than LA Knight, I have to say.
The month of June on the Post Wrestling Cafe is going to feature 2 editions of Rewind Away. Already in your feeds is a retrospective on the career of Manami Toyota. Plus, we are discussing WWE's WrestleMania 33 event from 2017, highlighted by the return of the Hardys, John Cena gets down on one knee, and Roman Reigns attempts to retire The Undertaker. Plus, we have coverage this month of New Japan's Dominion card. It's an Ask Away mailbag show as we take all of your questions. I will be sitting down to chat about UFC Freedom 250 with Neil Flanagan, and so much more. All of that can be yours at postwrestlingcafe.com.